Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Daily Coin. My name is Rory, and I have on the line today Will Lear, and he is the founder and operator of Perpetual Assets. And you may have seen some of his great articles over at survivalblog.com that apparently went viral. And Will, how you doing today?
I am wonderful, Rory. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right, thank you. Let's just start, Will, with Perpetual Assets. What's going on with Perpetual Assets right now, and what do you guys do? And just introduce it to the audience.
Well, thanks, buddy. I have, I guess, how I initially got connected with you, probably, a year or two or more ago. You may not know it, but through SGT, through Sean over at SGT. I know you've been a contributor there for some time. So your name came up. I'd heard about you, kind of thing, maybe even heard you on a few interviews. But then a couple of weeks ago, a client reached out to me and said, "Hey, Rory over at the Daily Coin and David Morgan just had an interview about the precious metals debit card and mentioned you guys." So anyway, I saw the article and checked it out and listened to the interview. About at whatever point in the interview when you said you got into talking about your wife and the IRAs and IRA money, cashing them out, paying, to try to get control of the money before, whether it's buying precious metals or whatever the case may be. And I said, man, I really got to get a hold of him and let him know about the IRA LLC and what it is, how it works. And so anyway, I reached out to you, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on with you.
Well, why don't you tell us about the IRA LLC? And the reason that I want to really start there, Will, is because of what you just said as far as my personal experience. 5 or 6 years ago, I can't even remember how long ago it was, but clearing out my account, paid all the penalties, paid all the taxes. The whole idea behind that was to take control of my money, because I know, and anybody out there with half a brain knows, the Myra account that Obama announced a few months ago at the State of the Union address, that Myra is the first step in seizing control of the IRAs, the 401ks, all of those accounts that are out there. It's the last large pool of funds to be confiscated. I'm sorry, to be used.
Yep. It's at least $5 trillion with a T. And you know what? I think that's just the private pension. I think that's just IRAs. I think, and I could be wrong, but if you include 401ks and TSP type plans and other defined benefit, it's, in the 13, 14, 15 trillion. It's a lot of money. Let's put it that way. And when you got a government that is going broke, that went broke a long time ago, it's an ugly, and again, you've had guys like Jim Rogers, Ron Paul, Larry Edelson with Weiss Research. They've been ringing the alarm bell for years about IRAs and 401k confiscation. So we're not talking about, tinfoil hat folks like we're not just talking about just the alternative community. I mean, so anyway, basically, the IRA LLC is a type of self-directed retirement account. But the huge benefit here, the big purpose, at least in the precious metals community, is you can take physical delivery at your home, under your pillow, in your backyard, your property, or the bank if you want to keep it in a safety deposit box. You take physical delivery of gold, silver, or platinum eagles that are purchased with your IRA. So those of us, especially in the precious metals community, have been incredibly ingrained in our mind to believe that IRA precious metals. So if I'm going to buy precious metals with my IRA, it's got to go through Delaware Depository. It's got to go through one of these companies where it's held in a vault somewhere, 1,000 miles away from me. We have literally been conditioned to believe that. And Rory, in the last year, we have encountered, it blows my mind. Some people, when they learn about it, it's man, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I can't believe it. Others are obviously incredibly skeptical and want to do a lot of research. They want to research the concept. They want to research us. And I would absolutely encourage everyone to do that. But in our community, in the hard assets community, in this free-minded, free community, those of us that are trying to spread the word, trying to help people get out of this debt-based, monetary system, we are so ingrained that it is so hard to break. It's so hard for us as a company to break that train of thought, to break the way of thinking that your retirement account, you can never touch that money until you're 59 and a half. Oh, and you got to pay taxes. It's not true. So even our friend like Bix, for example, at roadtorooted.com, I've known Bix for years, and we've been talking about this, and all of a sudden, I mean, it's happened with so many of our friends in the industry. They go, wait a minute. You mean there's not a depository? Whoa, wait a minute. We've talked about this. I read your article about it, but you mean there's no Delaware depository? You take the metals at home and there's no taxes and there's no penalties? Yes, that is what I'm telling you.
Wow.
It is a type of self-directed rollover. Okay. Just like a self-directed retirement account, you might roll your IRA over to buy real estate. That's a pretty large percentage of the self-directed industry. Rollover so that people buy investment real estate. Remember, if it's retirement money, you can't live in it. You can't stay there because you're benefiting from the asset. It's a retirement asset.
Right.
Same with those precious metal coins, those gold or silver or platinum eagles. You can hold them, but you can't spend them. So effectively, how it works is it's a self-directed type of self-directed retirement account. There is one thing my partner says that I've stolen and love. We are not fiduciaries. We are merely facilitators. Meaning, we at Perpetual Assets, we never touch your money. We never touch your retirement account. Your monies are rolled over from one custodian to another custodian. We use IRA Services Trust out of California. They've been in the trust business since the 60s. They're a big player in the self-directed marketplace, and they ultimately they are the compliance department that signs off on your retirement account, that signs off on or ultimately approves this investment. So your money goes from one IRS compliant custodian to another, and then from there it goes to a local bank account that you have set up under the name of an LLC that we have created, a specifically designed type of LLC that is purchased, that is owned 100% by your retirement account. So this LLC serves really as an investment company.
So if I understand you correctly, I could take my 401k, I could roll it over into a self-directed IRA that Perpetual Assets would set up. The Eagles, gold, silver, platinum would come to me at that point. What happens at that point after I've rolled over, signed up for the account is created? What happens at that point?
Good question. And in so many words, you're right on the money. So the monies are rolled over to IRA Services Trust in the name of your name, your new custodial retirement account there.
Okay.
While that's taking place, there's a lot of balls rolling at once. We create an LLC. We file an LLC that's going to be purchased or owned 100% by your retirement account. The LLC, you, Rory, the individual, are going to serve as the manager of this LLC. So you are the fiduciary for this LLC's investment assets. You are ultimately responsible for the investment of these assets. You can leave cash in the bank if you want. But so we set up the LLC. Let's say we do Rory Enterprises, LLC. Okay. I get you the EIN number and the state documents, and then you go to your local bank account, your favorite credit union or your favorite big money laundering bank, and you open up a business checking account in the name of Rory Enterprises, LLC. Then we have a final round of documents that are legal documents, affidavits, operating agreements. All these are attorney drafted and have to go through compliance. We get all those signed by you. We get those to the custodian, IRA Services. Their compliance department reviews those documents. Once they approve them, it takes about 3 to 5 days. Once they approve those documents, they wire funds from your IRA cash account at IRA Services to Rory Enterprises LLC bank account at XYZ Bank. Okay. Now, Rory, the individual, has complete what's called checkbook control of his retirement assets. So, meaning you can invest at that point, Rory, in almost anything you want. You no longer are married to this, vanilla blend of mutual funds. You can invest in private placements. You can invest in your neighbor is starting a new company and you think it's an ingenious idea and you want to give him 20 grand for 50%, whatever, equity in the company. Great, stroke a check. You want to buy gold, silver, platinum Eagles and put them under your pillow that are owned by your retirement account. No taxes, no penalties. You can do that. You want to buy stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. You can do that. Guess what? Without the management fees, you're always going to have internal load fees on a mutual fund, but without the financial advisor fees, you can do almost anything. You can't invest in a handful of things: collectibles and life insurance contracts.
Okay.
So collectibles is kind of vague, but we've had clients that set this up to purchase firearms. Not collectible, not a firearm that could be argued as a collectible, but I don't know, Glock 30 round magazines. Those are produced in bulk. It's not considered a collectible. So we've had clients that literally will buy those with their retirement assets and store them.
We'll just use your example, the Glock. If I wanted to go out and buy, 10 cases of those, or if I wanted to buy a monster box of Silver Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll call you up and I say, Will, I need to get a monster box of 2014 Eagles, Silver Eagles. What happens at that point? Now we've gotten the money rolled over out of the 401k. The account's been set up. I've been made the manager. Now we're going to fund that account with 30 count magazines and a monster box of Silver Eagles.
Okay.
Where does that product come from?
Great question. So now we've gotten everything set up. Rory's moved it over. Rory Enterprises LLC is all set up, and it's got dollar bills, electronic blips, I should say.
Yes.
In this little account screen that you can look at that makes you feel all warm and fuzzy. So now you call up your favorite precious metals dealer. That could be us. That could be anybody. And you call up your favorite dealer that offers Glock 30 round mags, and you make the purchase. Now, I would advise having the invoice in the name of Rory Investments LLC. But at the end of the day, Rory, as long as the monies that bought those retirement assets came from a qualified fund, even if your name is on the invoice, you can still very easily prove, the $12,000 or whatever that I wired to purchase this monster box came from Rory Enterprises LLC. So it's as simple as making a normal purchase.
So which is my next question. You said qualified monies. Now, does that have to come out of the LLC? Do I have to put money into it and then take it out, or
no?
How does that money get qualified?
Well, basically, it's qualified. Qualified money means retirement money. It means money that you haven't paid taxes on, or it's qualified, meaning it's locked up in a retirement account and they've got their hands on it. Your 401k is qualified money. Once you leave that company, or we'll get to 401ks if we have time. If you're currently active with your current employer and you're in a 401k, very seldom can you get out of it. Can you even roll your funds out of it? I recently wrote an article about that. We'll see if I don't know where it's going to be posted. I can't say that yet, but about just that, where literally there's 16% of companies with 401ks allow this. So 84%, the majority, do not. And you're literally locked up. You can either quit, die, or pay taxes and penalties to get your own money back. Anyhow, let's say it's an old 401k or one where they allow these in-service withdrawals. You roll over the money. That's your retirement account. That's money that you haven't paid income tax on, right? Those were deferred dollars you were investing.
Right.
Those are qualified monies. So once that 401k money or IRA money or SEP money or Simple, this works for any type of retirement account. Once those monies ultimately get to your LLC, I should say your retirement account's LLC, they're qualified monies. So we have to be careful not to, you can't spend the money as an individual because that would be a distribution. You're taking money out of your retirement account. It's still your retirement account. It just happens to be in a bank in your backyard. Well, it could be literal if you're burying precious metals in your yard. So you don't, yeah, once the money comes over, rolled over from your IRA or 401k to that LLC bank account, you've got complete control. It's your retirement account money. You got to be careful. For example, you can't invest in your son's company or your wife's company or your own company, right? Because that's an arm's length transaction. It's too close. So immediate family members, just like you can't take money out of your IRA right now and give it to your wife.
Right.
That would be she's a disqualified person. But if your neighbor has a great investment opportunity, you can invest in his company for equity. You can, so you got to be careful with those specific, do's and don'ts. And we have a whole bunch of information that we provide clients on the do's and the don'ts. And I make myself available for clients too. I just spoke to one the other day who had purchased some silver with his IRA LLC and was thinking about starting a business making colloidal silver and selling, and wanted to do it with his IRA LLC monies. And I said, well, great. I kind of coached him through it. Only problem here is, Mr. XYZ, you can't provide sweat equity in this company. So you can start a company with your IRA LLC. All profits have to stay inside the company. You as the manager can do managerial duties like deposit a check or send a wire or those type of things, but you can't actually go make the colloidal silver or go paint the rental house. You know what I mean? You can hire someone to do it. Anyhow, that was a bit of a slated answer to your question.
Well, that's okay. I mean, we need information. This is obviously it's new to me, and I know you've been doing it for at least a couple of years. How long has Perpetual Assets been in business?
Well, we Gus and I were in the metals business and financial advocate business for several years. So anyway, we back in June of last year, we said, you know what, it's time for us to start doing these ourselves. So we've got the attorneys together, we put all the paperwork together, and since then, man, the biggest challenge honestly has been getting the word out and then helping people understand that this is real.
And that's the part that I can believe would be the biggest challenge getting the word out and getting people to understand how simple that it is and how much control that the individual garners from doing this. I mean, from what you've described, it's like, okay, I'm ready to quit my job so that I can have access to my current 401k so I can roll it over, because I really hate the system that much. And I'm dead serious. What I'm going to do is pull out as much of my money as possible, by way of a loan or whatever they want to call it,
right,
and roll it over, because I have my own opinions about what's coming down the pike. And I would agree with Jim Rogers and the other people that are a lot smarter than me that we are being set up for confiscation of our.
Well, Rory, I think that most people listening to this, most people that visit your blog, most people that follow our stuff, or even our clients and customers for that matter, are on the same page. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5 years ago, it was a little different story, kind of. Today, it's like, I mean, even people who are entrenched in the system, they're going, this really? Okay, you're not crazy, Will. All the stuff you've been telling me for this is, let's face it, Rory, we're at the end of a monetary experiment gone wild. This is girls crazy. Gone wild with lots of paper money. It's the monopoly man just gone insane. So, if you study it from a historical standpoint, from a monetary standpoint, from an economic standpoint, just a mathematics standpoint, what goes up must come down kind of thing. You start dissecting it, and it's obvious. It's right there. I don't know how nobody knows how it's going to unfold. Is there a grand plan? Are there good guys behind the scenes? I sure as heck hope so. But too. Who knows, man? The bottom line is we, this dollar and this petrodollar, this monetary system, and then really the whole global format for that matter, is a complete fiat, overinflated nightmare, house of cards. And at some point, it's gotta go.
Well, actually, Sean described it really well the other day. He didn't say it's a house of cards. It's more of dominoes, because as one falls, it'll knock the other one over, which will knock the other one over, which will knock the other one over. So, because of the intertwining of the global banking system, the global mafia system, I should say, because that's what they are. I mean, the IMF, the International Mafia Federation. Um, I mean, these guys, they're they're all thieves, and they're all stealing every bit of the wealth that they can from as many of the individuals on this planet as possible. And that's one of the reasons that I like keeping things kind of simple, because I really want to be able to reach as many people as possible.
Hmm.
And I don't want to just to speak to the people that you and I normally speak with through our websites and through what we're doing, through our works. I want to get to those people that are on the outside looking in going, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
How do I get out of this? Who is the Federal Reserve? What are they doing? Why am I losing so much money? Why is there so much month left at the end of my money?
Hmm.
You know, and I believe that what you're doing, Will, at Perpetual Assets is one of the keys to helping people to get out, because this blood-soaked debt-based instrument known as the U.S. dollar is is ruining has ruined our country.
Hmm.
It is ruining our lives, and these people that are they are in control of our lives, and the only way that we can take control back from them is by taking control of the money, just like Lord Rothschild himself said. You know, I
I
mean,
care not who makes the laws.
exactly. I care not who makes the laws as long as I control the money.
Yep.
And and it's just that simple. And until Rory Enterprises LLC takes control of my money, then I'm not in control of it, and then, therefore I'm not in control of my life.
Yeah,
So,
it's
and that's
well said, man.
well, that's just that's where I want to stay. I really do. I mean, and people want to get way off into all this other stuff that's way down the road, and let's just keep it simple, and that way we can attract as many people as possible, because I can't reach Mrs. Smith with a bunch of complicated
Yep.
information that she doesn't know about and doesn't care about.
Yep.
The only thing she cares about is, how the hell am I going to feed my family tomorrow?
Yep.
You know, that's
Great point. Not to mention half of that stuff she would read would scare the bejesus out of her anyway, scare her back into the matrix, you know?
scares me.
It scares me too, brother.
I think you've done a great job here. So,
Good. I mean, we kept it pretty simple, 30,000 foot overview. I mean, if anybody really wants to go in deeper, give us a call, shoot us an email. We can dive into tax code. I mean, we can get dirty.
tell them how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, yeah. We're at perpetualassets.com, perpetualassets.com. And all our contact info is in there, email address, phone number. Yeah, feel free to reach out. If you want to reach out to me directly, it's Will at perpetualassets.com. And be happy to email you different supporting documents, tax code stuff, all kinds of goodies.
That sounds great. I mean, and I'll tell you, like I told Dell Olmsted a couple of days ago when I interviewed him, you can look for another account as soon as I can get things worked out. I will be calling you to get things set up, because I'm dead serious about we have to start making the steps that are prudent to demonstrating how it's done and why it's done. And if we don't do that, why in the world would why would anybody listen to us? They wouldn't.
You're You're exactly right. And the debit card, Dale's Precious Metals access card is, I mean, it's a great way to do that. It's a great way to, as you said the other day, don't sell your silver, spend it.
Exactly.
Um, it's a great way to just slowly get people onto transacting outside of, these slave coupons that are called dollars.
Yep.
I stole that one from Michael Krieger. I love the slave coupons. That's just God. But yeah, the debit card is neat. And we said, man, we love this. We want to help promote it. So he said, well, great. Send me. Here's what we need for the application, et cetera, et cetera. So we put it all on our website. We've got a form there. People can fill out the application for the debit card. And we just ask that they make their first purchase through us. That's how we make a few bucks. There's no fees to set it up. There's no storage fees at the vault. It's Dale makes a few dollars. The vault makes a few dollars on the arbitrage, just like any dealer does when precious metals. Let's say you have Silver Eagles that you purchase Silver Eagles. You send them. We send them to the vault. You get your card, and you're making purchases, buying gasoline, buying groceries. Every time you purchase, you're effectively selling Silver Eagles or a portion of a Silver Eagle. So every time Dale at the vault sells a Silver Eagle, he may pay the account holder $1 over spot, but wholesale premiums might be $2 over spot. So that's where Dale makes $1 an ounce. Let's say I'm just using figurative numbers here to give you an idea. So that's how we make a few bucks asking the folks, hey man, if you sign up with us, just make your first purchase through us. We'll ship it with your application to Dale. He'll get it all processed and have your card back in a couple of weeks.
So you do work with Dale.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Dale's company. It was Dale's idea. He's or maybe it was David's idea and Dale took it and ran with it. Anyway, Dale got it working. And yeah, I mean, we found out about him and said, this is awesome. I said, I want to try it, ship some of my stuff out there. And it's a great way to, silver that you don't necessarily scratch and dent stuff or ugly old rounds that aren't as pretty to you as they were. Send them out there. It's some of our clients use it as free storage. I mean, we've got folks that have sent quite a bit of metal out there. So yeah, we're not partnered per se or affiliated really in any way. We just love the idea and we love what he's doing and trust what he's doing. And, so we've been promoting it.
Well, and that's one of the things that we have to do is we have to look out for each other. Perpetual Assets has to look out for PMB-V and, the Precious Metals Bullion and Vault. I mean, we have to support one another. Otherwise, we're just all going to die on the vine and we're going to be stuck with nothing but slave coupons. That are strictly dead instruments. I mean, when I was talking to Dale, one of the things that I think that people really don't understand about our monetary system is that every time that you use $1, that you're actually generating more debt. So right. The more dollars that are generated, the more debt there's generated. So in order to curtail the perpetual debt, you use somebody like Perpetual Assets, where you're using current, real, hard money, honest money, and for every dollar that you transfer to a hard asset, you eliminate $1 from the debt cycle. Yeah, that's the way I see it anyway.
You're that little guy at the root of that bad, ugly tree with the little hatchet, and every time you take $1 out of the system by not using it, by using something else, whether it's a barter transaction, whether it's a trade with your neighbor, whether it's sending Dale silver and you take your Visa card and you go and you buy your gasoline with your silver, every time you do that, you're hacking at that root of that ugly beast.
With that, Will, I think that's probably a really good stopping point.
Sounds great.